that as complete a performance as you asked for?
You start getting a bit fussy in the coach's box when you have a good start like that. It was our focus to make sure we... It is every week. I mean, there's no team in the competition that don't want to start well, but we've only won 2 first quarters prior to tonight. So to win it so emphatically on the scoreboard, but also in the right way, thought our core actions and an ability to win the ball and control proceedings from a contest point of view was first rate, and then we fed off that. So yeah, after that you're a bit nervous about making sure you consolidate, but ultimately Essendon at different times not necessarily got the upper hand, but there's no doubt that the momentum in the game swung a fraction. They had some front half activity for a period of time, and then the boys persevered, and it's an outstanding win.
What did you make of Bailey Dale's performance across half of that?
It's pretty significant, isn't it? He had a lot of the ball, but he also won the footy back for us a lot. So, I mean, I think the stat sheet will show that a lot of it, was uncontested play, but the willingness to run in the main 2 phases, outnumber defensively, but also really link up and be creative through the middle of the ground. Yeah, it was first rate, quite exemplary.
Were you aware of how much the crowd seemed to really feed off that?
I was surprised the crowd knew. I don't know how they got the message. Did it go up on the scoreboard or something? But I think once it got to 49, everyone was riding it a little bit, trying to get him to 50. I think at one stage, knowing that we're playing Geelong this week, I think he'd had about 25 and mostly kicks, in the first half. And I said he's on track to do what Peter Featherby did. And I don't think anyone in the box knew what I was talking about. I think Peter Featherby years ago for Geelong had 40 kicks one day and about 3 handballs. So he got a few more than that. Show my age there.
He was obviously caught up in something he didn't want to be involved with a few weeks ago. He seems to just, hasn't really affected him at all. He's just gone about his business, basically.
Yeah, well, Digger's he's pretty unflappable, and his instincts in the game, his game sense is as good as anyone. He hasn't let it get in the way. As I've said over the last few weeks, he was surprised, wanted to move on, obviously copped a little nick, got chinned on the way in that game, but yeah, it hasn't affected the way he's played, so full credit to him.
You mentioned the fast starts. Were there any other facets of the game you're particularly pleased with tonight?
Well, I just said then to the group, it's not easy to defend when there's pressure on the footy, but it's easier. And there were situations tonight when Essendon did come out into space, more so in the first half. They were a bit more measured with how they tried to control the ball at different times and build it up through some uncontested marks. But there were a handful of times where they went quick and they got it into offensive paddock, and some of the efforts really, of Rory Lobb to halve or win footies and just get there after he'd been up the ground. And he was one, Luke Cleary and James O'Donnell, Bailey Williams when he was there, Taylor Duray, supporting the high backs who were doing a really good job in Bailey Dale and JJ. And then ultimately, Lockie Bramble ends up playing back when we needed to shuffle things when we lost Artie Jones. So I thought, obviously Essendon didn't have a lot of territory or a lot of inside 50s, but for the forays that they had, for them to be short-circuited was sensational.
There was a moment in the second quarter when play stopped. Riley West had been winded, trainers were out to him. Essendon had the ball, umpire got a bit close to him and umpires stopped it, and then when they restarted, Essendon started with the ball. As a coach, is that a satisfactory? Are you happy with that kind of scenario, how it plays
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't think that we're necessarily becoming gun shy just because of the Lockie Schultz situation. I think if there's a player on the ground and he's near a stoppage or a held ball, you should just stop the game, because he might get hurt again, or there might be something drastically wrong. So I'm all for it, even if there's not much in it. Sometimes I think actually when I'm not for it is if someone gets a cramp. It's occasionally you see someone get a cramp, and the game stop. No, there should be a cramp rule. If you can actually tell that someone's got cramp, play on, even if you run over the top of them.
And the scenario where the team that has the ball at the time gets it back, it probably wasn't as big a deal because it was in their defensive 50, but I guess it was their forward 50 with a shot at goal.
Well, I can't remember the detail in that, so I think rather than ball it up, you mean? Yeah, I didn't have an issue with what happened there tonight.
You're still missing Sam Darcy and Harry Waitman. How pleasing is it to see the ball line functioning so well?
Yeah, well, there's a few players down there, Ollie. There's a few moving parts, and we're a little bit shorter tonight with sort of time on the bench. And when you think about Laverde coming back in, Reid and Mackay, we knew that we were going to need to use the ball a certain way. We looked at last week's game, and quarter time, Sydney versus Essendon, it was 20 intercept marks, 10 apiece at quarter time. It was astronomical, and so we couldn't play into the safety net. And I thought our players really made it up, and good decisions, executed well, and that mattered, especially with Sam not there. We won't get Flea Waitman back now this year, so we've just got to get used to that, where Sam will come back into calculations not long after the bye. So we're, when he plays, it's sort of a different consideration.
How is Waitman holding up? Such an energetic character. He should be out there, but how's he holding up?
Yeah, now he's processed the fact that he's not going to play, and he's not relieved because he'd love to play, but he's okay. He's got peace of mind. Now he knows what he can do. In the meantime, he'll probably have another surgery between now and the end of the year, so that'll happen in the not too distant future. But as you'd expect, he's such a great human being. He wants to know what his role is off field. He wants to know how he can help. So we've got to find something for him.
And Artie Jones, any update there?
All I can tell you is we believe he's got a hamstring injury. The significance of it we'll let you know once we get the pictures, I suppose.
You've won past 9 at this venue, given it's a shared home ground. What do you put that recent form down to?
Well, before we've done that, we weren't winning that many games here, and I said during the week that with the rationalisation of grounds and teams who come here, whether it's from interstate, obviously Essendon play here a lot. It's a venue that I think most clubs like to play at. So, I mean, the only case you can make for it being a home ground advantage is if there's a lot more Western Bulldogs supporters here than the opposition's, and generally our people, our doggy supporters, they turn up, they show great support, so that can be a factor. But as far as the inconvenience of playing at Marvel Stadium, there just isn't any, and even the peace of mind that you're playing under the roof. It's and there's no elements, there's no weather elements. I know that other clubs enjoy it. So it's good that we've been able to put together a sequence of wins off the back of last year into this year. Regardless of how many we play here as the year rolls on and marches on, competition isn't going to do us any favours, so we won't take the venue for granted.
Like that break coming up, how do you approach the week? I'm assuming pretty light.
Yeah, recovery with a capital R, I think, Ollie. We're just we'll have a really light run on Tuesday, and then we'll go down to Geelong on the day. Historically, when we've played Geelong on a Friday night, we've gone down on the Thursday to avoid peak hour Friday traffic. But Thursday, our players and some of our players and staff might go down and stay with friends, or maybe even at a hotel of their own volition, if that's what their preference is, on a Wednesday night. But the AFL don't really fund that, so people, most of us without many pennies, will probably just drive straight from home to Geelong. Thanks, everyone.